Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we're here with my blind reaction to episode 1 of Camp Camp. So this is a donation reward, as everything is this week. It is part of our donation reward appreciation week. So for those who may be watching in the future, or for those who may have checked this out without knowing what's going on the channel or whatnot, what this is we're doing an entire week of checking out donation rewards for various viewers on the channel. A donation reward on this channel is simple. If you donate, you get a reward. And the reward is having me react to something. It could be a movie, a show, something on YouTube. This week we are focusing on 10 specific show reactions. These are ones that have been waiting on the back burner, waiting on my list for a while now, but because I can't get to everything at once, I only have a certain amount of slots open on my normal weekly schedule, you know? So I have to make it so that I do 2 donation reward shows at once, but at the same time, it's only 2, and I have a growing list. Because of this, I decided to take this entire week and basically preview a few different shows, 10 different shows to be precise. We're watching the first episodes of these 10 shows, and we will come back to them at some point in the future. We're not getting to them right away because we already have 2 shows in our donation reward slots. But we will come back to these at a later date. This is just a way to show you that, yes, these are still on the list. I will be getting to them, and we're going to actually check them out and preview them right now. It's a way of giving back to everyone who has donated and who continues to donate on the channel. I thank you very much. It's been super helpful for various reasons. We are also doing the 2 shows that we do have currently on our in our slots. We already did this week an episode of Hell's Paradise, and we also are planning to do an episode of Symphogear G this week. We've already started these shows in the past, but we are continuing them because they are still donation rewards. And this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, we will have a movie each day. We do that every week anyway. We have movies on the weekends, but there will be, they will very specifically be donation rewards. They most of the time are. But like last week, neither of them were, for example. This week, they definitely both will be. So everything being uploaded this week is specifically donation rewards. We'll continue with our normal scheduled stuff next week. But everything this week is only donation rewards, basically until Friday. Though the movies still come out on the weekend, I'm recording them during the week, so I'm technically counting it for up until Friday, because the movies are just normal. The movies always come out on the weekend, and they're almost always donation rewards, so it almost doesn't entirely count. But yeah. So today we are doing Camp Camp. Like I said, this is a donation reward for Sweet Venom. And all I know about this is it's a Rooster Teeth show. It's a comedy. And I've seen what it looks like. I don't know, like, character information at all. I don't know story information, if there is much of a story. I don't know. I also don't know if this show is still going on or if it was canceled or anything. But I'm going to share what is more than likely a very unpopular opinion right now. I don't think Rooster Teeth has really made much of anything good outside of RWBY. I tried checking out Red vs. Blue. It's boring. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. I didn't enjoy it. So I stopped watching after a certain point. I don't remember how far I got into it. And I never checked out Genlock, but it did not look good at all. It really did. Even with, like, big names attached to it, like Michael B. Jordan and David Tennant, it's like, nothing about it looked entertaining. It just really didn't. And Death Battle, I believe, wasn't even originally Rooster Teeth, right? They like got the rights to it or something. And even so, that's not really a series in the same way. That's a completely different kind of show. So it's hard to compare that to something like Ruby or Red versus Blue or Genlock or this. Now, with this series specifically, I almost never hear people talking about it. It's like I've heard people talk about Genlock. I hear people talk about Ruby all the time. Ruby gets a lot of discourse, whether for good or bad. I've heard people talk about Red versus Blue a lot. I mean, that's huge. Even if I don't like it, I acknowledge it's extremely popular. But this one, people seem to almost forget that it exists, it seems, with how little they talk about it. So I don't really even know what the general consensus on this series is. But I am interested to check it out, to give it a chance. As I say on this channel, I'm willing to give anything a chance. Even if it seems like it's something I might not be into, I could be proven wrong. Because that's definitely happened plenty of times in the past. It could be something that I think I would be into, but might not be after watching. That's happened in the past too. I genuinely do not know, unless it's from like a franchise or series that I am already a huge fan of. Or already hate. I genuinely don't know what I'm going to think of something until I see it. That's why I'm willing to check out anything, because I could be surprised one way or the other. So now the question kind of comes to, how is this series going to be? Without really any knowledge of it, I can't say. So we're just going to have to find out for ourselves through watching. The old-fashioned method, you know? The episode is a half length. I don't know if all the episodes of this show are half length, or if that was like maybe just the first season. Because I know Ruby did that. Ruby started off with shorter episodes, and then they progressively started to get longer throughout future seasons. And then Volume 9 of Ruby kind of went back to a little more shorter episodes just because of budget restraints. But they made them work and made them feel more like the modern stuff than the like classic, which is still good. So there's at least that. But yeah, maybe this will end up being like Ruby in a lot of ways. Maybe this will end up being something completely different. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed if it's like Ruby, but I also kind of want it to be its own thing. If there's one thing I would be good with it taking from Ruby, is like just the consistency of Ruby getting better every season. Because for those who have not watched my Ruby reactions, I do believe that. I believe every season of Ruby has been better than the last, without fail. Volume 9 is the best season that Ruby has put out, and before that it was Volume 8, and before that Volume 7. Every single one has been better than the last. Volume 1 is the weakest volume of Ruby. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And the biggest reason for this, and the one that really made that work, was when Volume 3 started, focusing more on the story. And then Volumes 4 and 5 really hammered that in and made the story the central point of the series, which was needed, honestly. The series would not have survived much longer if it hadn't switched to more story focus. It needed it desperately. It was it was the one thing that was desperately missing from the first, mostly 2.5 volumes. The second half of volume 3 is where it really started to change. But yeah, anyway, not going to get into an entire Ruby discussion here. That's for another video. Whenever the next volume comes and whatnot. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know what to expect, but hopefully I end up enjoying it because I haven't really had much of any other luck with this company. Plus, honestly, like, you could go on and on about how the company is terrible, and it's like, yeah. There's also those issues, which is a lot to deal with. So, hopefully at least this is good. To be fair, I can say that about almost any company, though, in all honesty. Almost any company is just inherently bad. Because they're founded on capitalistic greed and terrible lack of ethics that just automatically makes them bad. So it's like, it's that kind of situation where you just kind of have to figure out exactly what your breaking points are and figure out how to watch stuff to where it won't break those points. I'm terrible at wording stuff. For those who are new, you know that now. Let's just get this started so I can stop talking about this stuff otherwise. And start talking about the episode. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I don't get it. I guess, like, I didn't really have any expectations because, like I said, I don't hear people ever talk about this series. So I have no idea what people think of it. Do people think this is funny? Because almost nothing in this was funny. Like, the only thing that was funny, and honestly, I would say the only good character was Gwen. Like, she was the only one who I cared anything about in this episode. Everyone else was either annoying or just boring. Like, nothing about any of them really stood out to me or made me care for them as a character or anything. I don't care. The art and animation is fine. It has a unique style and everything. The voice acting is fine. I have no issue with that. No issue with the sound design. Any of that kind of stuff is all fine. I'm not worried that, like, it doesn't seem like it's probably going to be super plot heavy, but more like episodic and whatnot. That's not as big a deal. It's just that nothing about it seemed like it was trying to hook me in. And that's literally what a first episode is supposed to do. It's supposed to hook you in. It's supposed to grab your attention and retain it for you to want to watch more. Nothing about this was bad. It's just, it wasn't good either. It wasn't much of anything. I have no idea what to think about this and what to feel and say and all. Because it's like, I expected to have an opinion after watching this, and I don't. I don't have any opinion of this show. based on this first episode. I don't have any thoughts, any proper, coherent views. It's so nothing that, like, I almost feel like this was done on purpose, because that's the only thing that would make sense to me. If this was done on purpose, they purposely made this as nothing as possible in order to make you have to come back to more episodes just to have some kind of reaction to it, just to have some kind of actual thought on this series. Because if that wasn't intentional, then that's just confusing. Maybe a little sad. Because it's just like, that is not how you hook viewers into a show. Again, it's not bad, it's just not anything. And that's not really something that I'm into. Like, if other people are into, like, things that are, like, super bland and have no real anything to them, all the power to you. But, like I have stated with other reactions this week, for this Donation Reward Appreciation Week, this is not a first impressions. This is a donation reward reaction. So, unless it's something that, like, really offends me, or something that I just really, like, actively never want to watch again, it's not something that we're gonna be even considering to drop at the first episode. So yes, just like with everything else we've been reacting to so far this week in terms of the new stuff, we will be continuing this at a later date. I don't know exactly when right now. It's going to depend on a lot of different factors going in the direction of, like, when do I have the time to get to this stuff? What order do I want to get into this stuff now that I've done these first episodes? So on and so forth. And this is... I don't know how to categorize this show for that. Because it's not good or bad. It barely exists based on this first episode. It's just like, I don't know how to categorize this. But I guess we will give it a chance. We'll see how it continues to go in the future, and maybe it'll actually allow me to form an opinion. Maybe it'll actually do something. I don't know. If I'm confusing you, don't worry, I'm confused too. I don't know how to explain this any better, and I'm just hoping that at least to some degree you understand what I'm talking about. Because I barely do myself. That all being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Tell me what you thought in the comments below. And thank you to Venom for donating for this. For now, I'm Connie. I'm confused. I'm signing off. See y'all next time.